The Israel Defense Forces haven't wasted any time and have already kicked off Operation Iron Sword following that jaw-dropping blitz from Hamas. If you missed the memo, last Saturday was intense. Hamas sent a rain of almost 5,000 rockets over Israel. But wait, there's more to this thriller. In a move straight out of an action movie, Hamas soldiers didn't just launch rockets. Hundreds of them snuck into Israel, breezing past the separation barriers, and get this, some even glided in using paragliders. The aftermath was a heartbreaking loss of 22 lives in an instant, and countless others left nursing their wounds. And as the dust settles, the tally of those affected by this onslaught from the Palestinian militants keeps ticking, now crossing the 1,000 mark. So with their backs against the wall, Israel's defense team rolled out Operation Iron Sword. But what's the buzz on the ground in Israel? And how does the nation plan to flip the script on this crisis? Without further ado, let's get started. Hamas surprised many with its bold strike, launching a staggering 2,000 to 5,000 rockets into Israeli grounds, all with aspirations to assert dominance over parts of the Gaza Strip. One of the most pressing issues in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas is the taking of hostages. According to the New York Times, Hamas has taken scores of hostages since launching their surprise attack. These hostages are now in various locations across Gaza, making the situation incredibly complex for Israel, as reported by CNN. Moving on to the damages, the impact on cities and their residents is devastating. You won't believe it. Buildings are crumbling, and the social fabric is tearing at the seams. Photos from Business Insider show hostages, including an older woman, surrounded by heavily armed Hamas soldiers. It's a dire situation that goes beyond bricks and mortar. It's about shattered lives and broken communities. Something on the weaponry and tactics. Israel is not holding back in its military response. According to Military Factory, Israel's defense force is well equipped, boasting a range of modern guns. The first shipment of U.S. weapons has already arrived in Israel, as confirmed by the New York Post. Strategy-wise, Israel is focused on crippling Hamas's military capabilities. They're employing a multi-pronged approach, targeting key hideouts and decimating them, as reported by Times of India. It's not just about firepower, it's a calculated operation to achieve specific objectives. Israel is pulling out all the stops, which means various advanced weaponry is in play. According to Politico, Israel has urgently requested air defense systems and munitions from the U.S., and planes carrying these have already taken off. This indicates the level of seriousness with which Israel is approaching this conflict. Now, you might be wondering, what kind of firepower are we talking about? While the exact details are classified, we know from CNN that airstrikes have been a significant part of Israel's strategy. These aren't just any airstrikes, but precision strikes designed to target key Hamas locations. But it's not just about what's in the air, it's also about what's on the ground. Israel has a well-equipped army, and according to Military Factory, they have a range of modern guns at their disposal. From rifles to machine guns, Israel's ground forces are as well equipped as they come. So whether it's air defense systems from the US or their own advanced arsenal, Israel is leveraging a multi-pronged approach to neutralize Hamas's capabilities. It's a high-stakes game of chess, with each side making calculated moves. Switching gears, let's chat about the Gaza Strip. This skinny land patch sandwiched between Israel and Egypt by the Mediterranean. It's the epicenter of the Israel-Palestine drama for a mix of reasons: strategy, emotion, and humanitarian concerns. And, well, Gaza's beachside address makes it a geopolitical hotspot. But the real heart-tugger is that many folks here fled or got kicked out from present-day Israel during the 48 and 67 showdowns. Today, they and their next gens are huddled up in Gaza, many in refugee camps. The burning question: can they return home? 1987 saw a new player on the block, Hamas. It's a bit of a double agent, part political party, part military squad. And since 2007, after a spat with Fatah, another Palestinian group, they've had the reins in Gaza. And a side note, many countries, including Israel, stamp Hamas as a terror group. Because of Hamas in the mix, Israel and Egypt slapped a tight lid on Gaza's borders. This move, though security-driven, turned up the humanitarian heat in Gaza. The result? Tensions kept boiling over, leading to wars and major ops, causing hurt to innocent folks and smashing infrastructure. With clean water, power, and basic amenities running thin, global aid groups are waving red flags about Gaza's grim scene. To Palestinians, Gaza's a symbol of resilience against Israeli control. Israelis? They see it as a threat hub. In short, Gaza's a microcosm of the big Israel-Palestine tiff, reflecting deep scars, religious vibes, geo-twist, and urgent human plights. And while we're spilling beans, whispers of secret Israel-Saudi chats are doing rounds. The Abraham Accords in 2020 was a game-changer, with nations like UAE, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco cozying up to Israel. While Saudi hasn't inked any official bromance pact yet, little birdies, like Israeli planes cruising Saudi skies, hint they're not far behind. Saudi bigwigs like Prince Turki al-Faisal even shared some stage time with Israeli peeps in 2020. And there's a hot rumor about an Israeli PM and Saudi prince meetup. How's that for tea? While Israel didn't deny this, Saudi officials also didn't confirm the meeting. As they navigate the path towards improved relations, Israel and Saudi Arabia face a range of challenges and opportunities that demand careful consideration. One prominent challenge is the Palestinian issue. Saudi Arabia has a long-standing tradition of supporting the Palestinian cause, and public sentiment in the kingdom remains sympathetic to the Palestinians. Thus, formal normalization of ties with Israel could be a sensitive matter domestically for Saudi leadership, unless substantial progress is made on the Israeli-Palestinian peace front. The broader regional dynamics further complicate the process. Geopolitical considerations, particularly involving Iran, Qatar, and Turkey, can significantly impact the pace and direction of any normalization efforts between Israel and Saudi Arabia. These complexities necessitate a delicate diplomatic balancing act. Internal politics also come into play for both countries. Each nation has its own unique political dynamics and considerations that can influence their foreign relations decisions. These internal factors may shape the willingness and ability of each country to advance their relations. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The US has been BFFs with both Israel and Saudi Arabia for years, but the winds of change are blowing, and Uncle Sam's changing interest in the Middle East could toss a curveball in the game. How this American angle plays out could be the linchpin in the Israel-Saudi friendship saga. Peeling back the layers, forging ties between Israel and Saudi Arabia is no walk in the park. But imagine a Middle East reshaped by peace between these two big players. The Israeli PM is super optimistic, eyeing a broader, real-deal peace with Palestinians. But, and it's a big but, there's a catch. Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian leader, needs to hit the brakes on those anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. And it's high time the Palestinian Authority stops rolling out the red carpet for terrorists. But wait, there's a twist in the story. Enter Iran. The Israeli top dog hasn't minced words, sounding the alarm on Iran and its bigwigs being party crashers in this peace soiree. His beef? Iran's got its fingers in too many terror pies, and that's a recipe for disaster. Meanwhile, the Gaza Strip? Well, it's like a ticking time bomb. One moment it's all calm, and then boom. A case in point, the 2021 face-off between Israel and Hamas. That showdown left Gaza in ruins with way too many innocent lives lost. As if this wasn't enough, there's this long-standing drama between Fatah and Hamas. And trust me, the road to peace in the Middle East isn't just bumpy, it's filled with landmines. The plight of the folks in Gaza is heartbreaking, with Good Samaritans globally chipping in to help rebuild. But threading this maze of politics, alliances, and long-standing feuds is like navigating a ship through stormy waters. The quest for peace? It's going to be one wild ride. Now, let's shift gears and discuss how other countries have approached situations similar to Israel's Operation Iron Sword. Now, it's important to note that every conflict is unique, but there are some common threads we can pull on to understand the strategies at play better. Take the U.S. military's Operation Desert Storm in 1991, for example. Much like Israel, the U.S. employed a combination of air and ground assaults to achieve its objectives. Precision airstrikes were key, targeting key installations to cripple the enemy's capabilities. The U.S. also used cutting-edge technology, including stealth aircraft and laser-guided bombs. Then there's Russia's intervention in Syria, which kicked off in 2015. Russia also used a mix of air and ground forces, but leaned heavily on its air power. They used a variety of aircraft and missile systems to target rebel strongholds and support Syrian government forces. It was a different theater of war, but the focus on air power remains. Now, let's bring it back to Israel's Operation Iron Sword. According to Eastern Herald, the operation is a countermeasure against Hamas, much like how the US and Russia targeted specific groups in their respective operations. Israel has also received a shipment of US weapons, indicating a multinational aspect to the conflict. So, what's the takeaway here? While the objectives and enemies may differ, the core strategies often share similarities: a focus on air power, the use of advanced weaponry, and international involvement. It's a complex web of decisions and actions that shape each operation, and understanding these nuances can give us a clearer picture of what's happening on the ground. Now, what do you think of all this? How do you think it will result? Positively or negatively? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching.